Yo,
What's going on?
another day. Is it storming by you?
It was earlier.
Yo,
Nice little
dog,
rain.
it is coming. I don't know if you can hear that. Let me cut this real quick. You don't hear it, right?
Nah, I fall asleep. I hear those raindrops. It's Noriega.
It's Noriega. Yo, dude, it's crazy because the listening to the rain is super comfortable, right? Like just like soothing. Like you don't even have to have anything. Just that sound.
Hmm.
Just like go to sleep.
You got them apps. Like,
Yeah. They make machines now, like little
oh
boxes
yeah,
you can
yeah.
buy. Waterfall,
Fan. I need the
whale.
fan to sleep.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
sound of the fan, or
yeah.
I can't sleep with like we have a fan in our bedroom. It's crazy. The fan is enclosed in a ring light, so it's a ring. It's a design or whatever, and then it's
Right.
the vent cover, and then the fan. When you put that shit on, it sounds like a jet engine is gonna take off. I can't do it. Just leave the air
Start fucking dreaming like Mission Impossible or something. Like you hanging
on.
on the wings.
Yeah, man. I don't know, but this sound is really nice. Um, but it's really coming down right now. How you feeling, brother? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
The sinus
I'm good.
infection subsided. We all right?
Yes, we good. Yep.
Nice, nice. You took anything special? Some ivermectin, maybe?
Antibiotics and
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Like
some
so, what
nasal spray.
for like a week?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the antibiotic was actually like 3 days, 4 days.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you can hear it or anybody in the room can hear it. When you're coming into the room, let us know you're here. But the rain, dude, is like really, really coming down right now. It's that bad.
Mm,
But I think this is from Ida, no?
maybe. Yeah, I know
Remnants?
the remnants coming this way.
Man,
Yeah, we didn't get it that bad last week. They were supposed to be right over Long Island or whatever, but it wasn't.
hmm
Wasn't bad at all.
you lucked out. It probably got a little lost a little bit of his bite.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, tonight we're gonna speak to Miss Jennings Medina,
Yes.
the entrepreneur in the health and wellness sector. I guess like you can call it that.
Yes.
Um, she has an interesting story. I thought it was crazy that she left um, Brooklyn for Buffalo. You know, usually when that happens because they're going to the witness protection program.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Canada's next. We're like, I'm out.
Dog, the birds don't even fly up to Buffalo. There ain't no
Yeah.
birds up there. It's too far up.
I went
It's
to Buffalo once, and it was like August, and it was cold. I
really.
remember at night it was free. Oh, yo, I can't even imagine the winters out here.
Listen.
And that was the worst plane ride ever.
Oh,
It
you
was like
flew.
45 minutes, and that shit was like nonstop turbulence. I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. I'm never coming back.
I don't like flying no more.
Nah.
I really do not like flying no more, bro. This is really berserk. This is odd. I'm looking at our live feed. This is really crazy. Okay. But Buffalo is a special place, but there's also a place in upstate New York called Monticello. Have you ever been?
I actually was there in Memorial Weekend.
Really? So in Monticello, it gets brick. Like I remember back in the days, my cousins have family up there,
Mhm.
and man,
They got the college over there.
yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
In the 80s, there was they had a snowfall. Dude, it was like 4-5 feet. Berserk. When you hear 4 or 5 feet, you're like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
No, but snow wise,
Yeah, no, we went there Memorial Weekend. It was raining and cold.
really.
Terrible. I was like, yo,
Man.
this is terrible.
Good evening to the regular schmegular, Miss Angelica Reyes.
How you doing, Angelica?
Yeah, man. So, Miss Medina is from our neck of the woods. She's an entrepreneur. She left corporate America to pursue her own passions. And we're going to talk about her journey tonight and her story. And it should be a good one. She sounds like a real go-getter, this girl.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. Sasson has more of a connection. She's from our neighborhood. He knows more about her than I do, but we're going to find out about what she had gone through, because I know that she, in her bio, spoke about health issues. And I think that was a huge deciding factor for her to change up as far as, her lifestyle. And I think that's something that a lot of people are starting to look at now,
Sure.
As we discussed in the preamble, we wait until we, start making noise when we get out the bed to be like, all right, I got to go take care of myself, But yeah, man. So we're going to run this track and do a couple of shots and get Jenny in the room.
Let's do it.
All right, people. Y'all slow, but here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A.
Sally Sanson in the building.
And this is the set 6145. Tonight, as always, we have a very special guest, a Miss Jennings Medina. And I know I put an S. But you know what? Let me correct that right now because that's foul. I don't want to mess up her name.
Yeah, fix that.
Miss Jennings Medina. I even think her name is interesting. Jennings. Yeah, man. So Miss Jennings is going to join us momentarily. We're going to talk about her work, her journey in the health and wellness business, and everything that she's gone through to get to this point. And we hope everybody can enjoy the show. So I wanted to share this with you. I know a lot of our people have been doing different things, and I found this IG. And I was like, oh, wow, this is different. But it just so turns out that our mutual friend, what the hell? No, our mutual friend, I don't want to put his street name out there. I'm gonna say Ray. Our mutual friend Ray transplanted down to Florida. I believe he's in the business. He's in the real estate business now. But in his off time, Ray has opened up his project, Cocktails with Ray. Now, if you go on Instagram, you can see all the different selections that he makes when he goes to pick up the different liquors and all the different cocktails that he makes. And I started checking it out, and I was like, wow, this is really good. Sometimes you're home, maybe you want to have a little something.
Right.
Excuse me. And you could come here and find something new, especially those who like, who like to drink.
Yeah.
Occasional cocktail isn't bad.
Yeah, sometimes you're in the crib, you want to have a little drinky drink.
Yeah. So everybody, salute to our brother Ray. Everybody go check out Cocktails with Ray, all one word, on Instagram. And yeah, maybe you'll find something you like. I
remember he was doing the gym stuff also. He might have had COVID might have hurt him,
Really?
But, Ray, again, one of them people is go-getter.
Mm-hmm.
On to the next thing. Keep, nothing gonna hold us down. Like
For sure.
Jennings.
Yeah. Listen, perfect segue.
Right.
Ray definitely was hitting the gym hard. Did he get COVID? Do you know?
No, I'm saying
business-wise.
I think business-wise, yeah.
Oh, okay.
COVID affected them. I think. Right. I'm not sure, but
right.
You would have to answer that.
Right. But salute to our brother Ray. Keep doing your thing. We see you. Yeah, so before we start also, well, we were talking about something, and of course my middle-agedness is starting to hit me. So now is it true that the New York Knicks are requiring, like all New York sport teams are required to be vaccinated now?
Well, the NBA, it wasn't the Knicks. The NBA said that the New York teams New York and San Francisco would have to be, because that's what the issue of, like, the state policy is.
Okay.
So if that's what the government wants, then that's what they have to follow, that protocol for like all employees basically, right?
Right.
So the Knicks and the Nets and those guys, those basketball players are employees of the Nets and Knicks, so they have to follow the protocol of mandated vaccines.
It's crazy. They're also mandating high school athletes to do the same.
Mm.
That, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's tough.
Good evening, Mr. Johnny Chavez. We'll see you. All right. You got another one, Sel, or no?
No, I think that was it.
All right, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring in our guest, Miss Jennings Medina. Let me just set this up. You have to forgive me. I'm working in some new parameter here, and I want to make sure I do this right. So if you see me dodging left and right, don't mind.
New equipment, got some new equipment going.
Yeah, this is a whole new setup. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to welcome our very special guest from Sunset Park, Brooklyn, by way of Buffalo, Miss Jennings Medina.
Oh my God, really?
Bills Mafia.
Did you really have to go in on Buffalo like that, though? I mean, listen, were you watching the Bills last year?
No,
I watched them.
Come on.
That's Sally's wheelhouse.
I won't hold that against you, Mr.
I
A.
watched them. Are you going through tables? That's what I want to know. They be wilding over there, those fans.
Them Buffalo Bill fans?
Yeah, Bills
Really?
Mafia. They're called. Yeah,
They're called what?
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia?
Yeah.
Are they any worse than the Miami Dolphins fans?
Oh, way worse, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I went to a game, Jets against the Dolphins. This was like, it was like sleet out, that wet snow. It was terrible. These people came up in buses in Florida, and they are the absolute worst. Like literally, people were walking by with Jets. This is
those are probably New Yorkers that moved to Florida and came out.
Probably, but they tailgated, which was pretty cool. But as soon as the game started, it was a wrap. It was like, forget it.
Philly and New York is probably the worst. Fans.
Yeah, for sure. Philly. I say Philly. So, Jenny, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you here. How are you feeling today?
I am well. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course. So is it snowing by you or?
It's actually beautiful out here. The weather is perfect. It was like 78 degrees today. Sunny, nice breeze, no humidity like in New York City. Y'all have all that humidity down there.
Makes for a terrible hair day, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I moved to Buffalo.
I was telling Mr. Sasson, hey, the only people that move to Buffalo are that in the witness protection program are trying to escape some shit. That's a place that I've landed in the plane there, but that was it. I didn't get off. Thank God.
No, it's a beautiful city. They have so much going on as far as development is concerned. They have a beautiful waterfront. The real estate is amazing as far as being able to afford to buy a house. And it's one of the reasons why I moved back to Buffalo, because I went to school here, was because I wanted to buy a house. And if you know anything about, you can't touch anything in Sunset Park if it's
Anywhere.
not,
New York City, period.
7 figures, right? Especially like even in our old neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And it was at the height of the pandemic. I was in an apartment with my 14-year-old. We were like kind of stuck, and I was just like, you know what? It's time to go. I want a yard. I want a porch. I want to be able to go out and do what I want to do in my place of living. And also just being able to know that I have something when I get older. Like I was looking at a point in my life where it's like, where am I going to live? Like what is my retirement? What is my social security? What is all of that going to be able to afford me?
Right.
And am I still going to be able to do it in New York City? And we all know that that's not possible.
Nope.
And
So
it's interesting that you went up north because everybody's going south.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not into hurricanes. I'm not into floods.
Right.
I'm good. We didn't have a really harsh, winter. It was manageable. People are really, really prepared over here for the snow. So
Right.
it it's not that bad. I've lived in New York. I mean, I was working on Wall Street, and those wind tunnels, when you're walking out that ferry to go into the office, like, that's no joke.
Yep.
You know, and you walk everywhere in New York City, right? So you're walking through snow, you're walking through rain, you're walking through the wind, you're walking through everything. Over here, you drive everywhere. So
slow ass people.
I'm good.
People,
I'm good.
Yeah, the people in Lower Manhattan, you get a good mixture of people who know how to walk and those that don't know how to walk, right? Especially in that area, because it's so, like, the streets are very small,
right?
And it's densely populated when it's rush hour, right? So I don't know about you, but I know there's been many times I want to push somebody, like, the fuck out, I'm trying to go to work, all lollygagging and shit. I'm sure you don't have that problem in Buffalo, though.
No, but if you are a New Yorker, you take that mentality with you everywhere. I'm like, why? Like, I can't. Like, let's stick and move. Let's go. Get what you need and let's go.
Yo, Sally, have you gone through that cell when you go to Florida and you honk your horn at somebody and everybody's like,
no. Just to go to restaurants to eat or that, you know, you're like, damn, what this taking so long?
Your level of patience, the threshold, very low.
Sure. My daughter did that to me when I went to visit her one time. I honked the horn and she's like, Dad. And I'm like, what? We don't honk horns out here. I said, I don't give one F. I'm from New York. I honk the horn. Matter of fact, you keep talking, I'm going to lean on it and not let go. Get that shit. So, Jenny, let's start at the beginning. So, originally from Sunset Park?
Yes. Originally, both my parents, when they came from Puerto Rico, very young. My mother was 5. I don't know exactly how old my father was, but both very, very young. And I was born in Sister Elizabeth Hospital, which is now NYU Langone Lutheran, right? It was called Sister Elizabeth back in the day.
Wow.
And then my son was born there. You know, my grandmother always went to her appointments there. So I'm really kind of from, 50th and 4th, actually. My grandmother lived there until, she transitioned.
Wow.
So, one of those 4th floor walk up. When you go into the supermarket and
laundry day.
I need somebody to bring these groceries up, and you leave your groceries in the supermarket.
Yep.
One of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's Sally, you went through that in our building, right? It was on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
I think Mommy had it good though, because if Sally wasn't around, if one of us were around, we would always help her with the groceries and bring them up to the 3rd floor. That was tough.
Yeah.
So
I made sure to not be around. Like, come on. It's laundry day.
Yeah. Joey was good for that. I remember that. Joey was
in my house more than me.
Yeah. So Jenny, you went to school. Did you go to like Pershing or?
I went to PS 314 and then I went to Shallow. I know. I was like right on the borderline. I don't know how they figured this whole thing out, but I went to Shallow. And I didn't go to high school in Brooklyn. I came to high school here, actually, in Buffalo, New York. My mother got a job over here and we moved over here. And then when I graduated and I got my degree, I went back home. It was like around 9/11, and which is coming up, actually, ironically. Yeah. And I got so homesick for being with my city, being with my family, that I went back, and that's where, I got most of my career was there, in the financial district and doing insurance and just in really all type of environments and cultures when it comes to business.
Wow.
It's crazy. 50th and 4th, she went to Shallow. When I lived on 54th and 5th, they were sending me to Pershing, and I had just moved to 61st.
Really?
So I went to Shallow, and they were like, "No, we don't. You're going to Pershing." Like, and I'm like, "No, I live on 61st Street now." So we had to wait to transfer me.
Wow.
But I'm like, that's closer to Shallow than 50th and 4th.
Yeah.
I guess maybe because of the train.
I don't know. I think at that point they were rezoning or something like that, because I really just wanted to go to Dewey. Everybody was going to Dewey. That's where I wanted to go.
Right there.
No, me mandaron por la puerta del carajo.
We would have Sammy the Bull over there.
Yeah, for real. So I'm assuming that we're in the same age group. Like I don't understand. Did she go to school with us? So in Shallow?
I don't remember, honestly.
Well, how old are you, Sal?
I'm 48.
We probably did. I'm 47.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was there.
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely there. Wow. So where'd you go to school? Geneseo? What college you go to?
I actually went to a vocational college up here.
Okay. And you took up like admin or?
No, business applications with computer programming.
Okay.
So when I went to college, there was a lot of talk about Y2K.
Right.
And just the world ending because of software and, the software language that was kind of at that point extinct and nobody was really teaching it anymore. So they had these programs that they were putting out, and it was one of those really hardcore, you have to learn it within the space of this time and be in school all day, every day, and really do online programming so that we could be prepared for Y2K.
Wow.
And that's what I did. I remember my first assignment and my first job. I was like the only Latina woman in a room of like older white men, because that is who had been taught the language originally. Like COBOL and assembler is a software language that was created in the armed services, like the army.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they communicated. Like mainframe programming is what it's called.
What was the time frame that you had to learn this?
It was like 2 years. Intense. It was like an intense 2-year program. And it's one of those things where I wasn't taking art. I wasn't taking, all that other elective type of stuff. It was just, this was my discipline and this is what we were learning. And this is what we had to kind of like, this was what the program and the training was.
So did you use that language like here's for Y2K. So once we understand that, that doesn't happen and we don't all burn and go to hell, right? What is the next move for you? Because now you're armed with this computer language. Is it still useful in the market after that?
No, the market dried up. Yeah, and a lot of people actually lost their jobs because now you go from, think about it. You have banks and you have these companies that have need mainframes in order to store all of this large amount of data. Now you could, you have terabyte little gigs that you're walking around with and clouds that you're saving to. You don't need the physical space for this. So then that language becomes, it just, you don't use it anymore. It's not needed,
It's extinct.
Yeah, extinct.
Wow.
So I then went into administrative services because at that point, everything that happens in a back office, of a business, as far as reporting, as far as the finances, breaking things down, the logic and the process of, the soup to nuts, the A to Z, like where you start and where you're ending. Because, once you learn something, you could apply those lessons, and that's what life, almost in any situation. So I was able to apply all of the things that I had learned and I had, experience in other cultures.
It's funny you said that, Jennings, because I worked in the hospital 14 years. And the other day I was fooling around with like the nurse exam and I was getting the answers right. And I'm like, I learned this from the hospital, just being in the hospital, I'm like, it's amazing how you pick up things and they stay with you. I'm like, I might be a nurse.
Yeah, you be a candy striker.
The new Fokker.
Yeah.
So this happens, you go into administrative, and this is all culminating around 9/11, essentially, correct?
Right.
So where do you what corporation do you end up working for? What private business do you end up working for? Well,
my last position was for a family fund, a family office, and a family office is basically like venture capital.
Mm-hmm.
You're like the best way to describe it is like, what is that show? Like Shark? What?
Shark Tank.
Yes. So
you said Shark Week.
Yeah, Shark Week. What's that show?
Yeah.
So you have
Sally. Shark Week.
No, I said Shark Tank.
You have individuals with with enough money to make investments in in the market and to bring new things to market. And so I was the private assistant, the office manager, the project manager for a boutique family office. They basically, had their hands in everything. And so, you're basically supporting the business of a family that is probably the 2% of the world.
Right.
So that's a lot because it's 24/7. It's not, I'm clocking out, you have somebody's, all of their information.
You have their life in your hands.
Right. And the confidence and the trust that they have to have in you as well, because you have all of this logistical information that, honestly speaking, you could do basically anything with, right? So, those are skills. And people don't realize that those are skills as well, is when people have confidence and trust in you that you're going to keep their business running and still keep their privacy in place. Those are skills, because there's a lot of people out there that won't do that.
There's human nature, there's temptation.
Right, exactly. When you're transferring a lot of money from one account to the other and you're living paycheck to paycheck, it depends on the person. It depends on the person at that point, right? So, building a portfolio of references and experience that also speaks to loyalty and trust and confidence in that the person is going to be able to do, and still, like, maybe I don't know what this industry is, but I'm a go-getter. And what I don't know, I'm gonna go learn. Right? Like, I'm not afraid of saying, well, I don't know that, but you know what? I'm more than sure that I can learn it. Give me a little bit. I think that people sometimes have more respect for you as an employer if you say, I don't know this, but I'm more than sure that if you point me in the right direction, or you tell me what I should be looking at, and I could learn it, I'm going to still be an asset to you, as opposed to you selling yourself, not being able to do something. And then there's expectations as to you to do a job, and then it's not there just because you wanted to land that job. Right.
So essentially, Miss Medina, you were the gatekeeper. So, like, just imagine selling a big safe like Fort Knox with a desk in front of it. And the only person that has the ability to open and close that safe is her. That's essentially, what she's doing for these people, running their calendar, making sure they're keeping appointments, keeping everything going in the office, like, essentially working for a hedge fund.
Yeah, events, the reporting, the billing, the expenses, the travel, and not just like, okay, you're going to Miami for 2 weeks. No, like, this is international travel. You got to know the hours. Is different.
Right. Definitely.
And there's a great appreciation for it, because it's like all of the moving pieces in order for these busy lives to be able to kind of really do business.
Yeah. And run smoothly.
Is it like really stressful, or is it more like they stress you out, or is it like, what, I'm getting the job done right, we good? Like, how did it work for you?
I think that's also a matter of patience, growth, where you're at in life, as far as your career. Somebody that, a younger person that hasn't been in the, in the workforce as long might be like, yo, this is for the birds.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to a person who is just like, this is my job. And has personally developed themselves to a point where you don't look at it as like it's defining you. It's a resource.
Right.
Like, it's providing for me. There's a provision for it. I own my business now.
Right.
Like I'm cleaning a toilet, like I'm running reports, and I feel like everything seriously, right?
I know.
Right. So everything that I've done in my life as a woman that has been in corporate America has really trained me to be okay with, like, I don't, like, I'm the janitor and I am the CEO, and I'm going to respect both those titles because I have been those titles in, for other people, but now I'm signing my own check.
Right.
Like I'm making deposits into my own account, and there's the difference. And in being able to accept that everything that you do prepares you for the next level. Like, you could be an expert on this level, but you're still going to be a novice on the next level. And if you're okay with that, there is never going to be a glass ceiling.
Right. There's room for
Sure.
growth.
And that's the thing. It seems like through her experience, again, as she stated, it sort of sharpened her sword for this moment for her to create her own, right? And she understands the value in the work that she does, because every little thing plays to the bigger picture, right?
Right.
Everything plays its part and it means something. It's not like, you have to have all these things and you have to be built a certain way. And I can imagine the scrutiny that you were under just going into that kind of work, because I've tried to be a facilities manager for a hedge fund. Man, first of all, the perks are bananas, right? And I'm talking about now. But the scrutiny that they put you under, the background check that they do, like, no puedo dejar ni un peo ni nada. Like, oh, where did this come from? They'll tell you shit that you like, yo, I forgot I did
Damn,
that.
bro, how many times you on Pornhub a day? No.
For real. The scrutiny is crazy, and you have to have your shit in line. So when you're telling me that you were working for basically a family fund, these are people with long money. So, all right, when do you finally make the decision to say, you know what, I've done this for so many years, I've learned X amount of skills and understanding of this sort of business, it's time for me to, like, what happens that you decide to make the change?
I think it was more gradual. It wasn't, it didn't happen in a split moment. It was gradual. Again, we get to a stage where we start being very self-reflective and self-actualized, and start peeling the onion with ourselves as far as, well, at least where I'm concerned. And
Right.
A lot of the people that I try to surround myself with, right? Because it's always who you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a point where you start questioning.
Sorry. You have to excuse that noise.
Idle
It's not
alert,
my
idle
fault.
alert.
This thing just doesn't want to turn the hell off. Sorry.
No worries.
That's a flood warning. Why? Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Jenny. I'm sorry about that.
It just there's nowhere and there's no job that you take that actually then is satisfying you, because there's something inside of you that is not coming to life.
Right.
That is not being born. So you feel dissatisfied with your circumstances. You feel incomplete, and that's where I was getting. I was just like, there was no amount of money that I was being offered, or any position or the perks, because you already knew what was going to come with the position.
Right.
And with that was, the time freedom. There was no time freedom. I mean, it's not the money. It's not the money, it's the time freedom. I just went to Palm Springs 3 weeks ago, Mexico last week. Like, I didn't have to ask permission to do any of that, as long as I knew that my business was being taken care of.
Right.
Like, you got to get to a point where it's just like, you know what?
I'm free.
I got to live my life.
Yeah, for sure. And then, speaking of living your life, on a personal note, you're a mom, right?
Yes.
Now, tell the audience what that's like for you.
To be a mom?
Yeah, because you how many children do you have?
I have 4.
Okay, let's stop right there. I have 2. I wanted 5. Sally, you have 3 boys, correct? You have 4 children. That's not, it's not easy.
And now you have children, and when you have this corporate job.
Oh yeah, I've always and I've had side hustles.
Gotcha.
I mean,
how do you do all those things?
Who doesn't have a side hustle?
Right, but I'm sure everybody in the audience is probably saying, shit, a mother, were you married at the time? Were you guys together? Were you cohabitating? Like, what was the situation?
I mean, there were times in there when that was happening because I do have 4 kids, But I mean, I want to say the majority of time I was a single mom, and I've just, listen, I've been blessed with amazing children.
Right.
And not to be like, oh my God, my kids are the best. Nah, because they, I'm a big, I don't cover the sun with my finger type of woman. I know what their strengths are. I know what their weaknesses are, but they're mine. And I also know that given the statistics of where minority Hispanic men would be that are without dads, my kids are solid. My oldest is 29. He's going to be 30 in March, and he's a union worker. He works for the, he's an iron worker.
Nice. Great union.
And yeah, he worked at NYU for quite some time as a security guard over there. My second oldest works logistics for Amazon and also helps me at the nutrition club. My daughter just got accepted into Malloy. She starts next week. She's taking nursing, and she got some scholarship money behind that. And then I have my 14-year-old. He's the only one that's kind of home. He's the only one that's left. And he just started high school today, and he plays football. And, that's another thing. My boys always have been involved in sports because it was one of those things, because they didn't have strong male figures in their lives, that they needed to be in sports so that they could be around the baritone, the alphas, get your shit in order. Let's go. Make sure that you're doing what you have to do in school, because if not, you could practice, but you can't play.
Yeah.
As a mother, I didn't have that same effect as opposed to me picking up the phone and saying, hey, coach, he just failed his test and he's acting up. Okay, don't worry about it. I got him. So being able, it takes a village. And I was very, very lucky to have a village in my family, my grandmother, my friends, amazing babysitters. I mean, I paid out, I paid a lot for babysitting, but again, I was in positions where I was able to do that. My kids didn't grow up, on Section 8 or in the projects, and not that there's anything wrong with that. No, I'm saying, I want to keep it real, because my grandmother lived in public housing. So I grew up, at times on welfare and on the cheese line, and we grew up poor, but my mother was able to go to college, get her bachelor's, my uncle as well. Every generation has been able to level up. Right. And because I've been able to stand on the shoulders of my ancestors, my kids have never been given the experience of living a lower standard than what I got them accustomed to. Right. So they know better. So if you know better, you do better. You know what I mean?
Jennings, I have a question. So are you one of those you're not one of those mothers that's like, don't yell at my son, right? Because the way you make it sound like he's coachable. Treat him like a man. Do what you got to do as long as it's in the field. Are you one of those parents, or are you one of those, don't fucking talk to my son that way, going crazy on them?
I'm very protective of my children, but I also, again, I don't sugarcoat the pill. I have this analogy that I use. I'm not raising puppies, I'm raising dogs. A lot of adults will baby their children and not realize that what you're doing is you're babying an adult. And when it gets to a point where they're an adult, then the expectations that they have, are not adult-like expectations. And as a single mother who was always out there, working and hustling, I wanted to make sure that if, God forbid, I didn't come back home, I was going to leave them equipped with the necessary lessons that they were going to be able to go and survive in the world without having my voice in their physical ear, but still, in their spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just like I would let somebody correct them, but I'm not going to let you bully my kid.
I think
Noted.
I think people need to understand that when you coddle a child, you're hobbling them in life, man. And I used to tell my kids, my daughter, when she was in junior high school, I used to tell her, you think I'm bad? You think I'm hard on you? Just imagine I'm your dad. I love you. When you go out into the world, those people don't give one F about you. So imagine how they'll treat you or try to undermine you or backdoor you or snake you.
Right.
No, I'm not going to baby you because it's not good for you in the real world. You're not going to get that out there. Right. So you raised 3 boys and 1 girl. You still got the little guy at home. Is he to a point a mama's boy?
I'm always joking, like this kid is practically raising himself.
Wow. Okay.
That's good. I think like he just really is a sponge, and he has really, really absorbed what to do, what not to do, what mom likes, what mom don't like, when to stay out of mom's way. Is he a mama's boy? I wouldn't say he's a mama's boy. He's a gamer. Mm-hmm. So if I didn't have him in football, he would be in his, universe. That is the other world of the virtual world. Yeah. But he's a good boy. I said, that he doesn't do his shit on the side is just like, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but he's not a mama's boy.
Okay. So now you leave the corporate world. You're raising your children. It seems like you have everything very structured, and you have a solid understanding of what boys really need to grow up to be men. And that's a really good mindset to have, right? So there's not one specific moment. We understand that you gradually shift over into becoming your own business, right? How do you hone in on health and wellness? What makes you pick this business to get into? Like, is this something that happened in your life personally, or?
So, yes, personally. Okay. I got to about 42, 43, and I started having health issues. I had gotten diagnosed with fibromyalgia when I had my youngest son 14 years ago. And I really didn't pay attention to how I could manage that with nutrition.
Okay.
And I partied. I continued to party. I mean, again, Esteli and I are from the same neighborhood, all of the different places where you go and you're partying and the bottles, and it's all there. It's all very available to you, right? And if you hang out with a certain set of people, then you know where to go and who to hang out with, right? And so this is basically something that I did very much into like my 40s, like my early 40s. And when I started going to the doctors and I started getting, the fatty liver, first it was the fatty liver, and then it was the weight that wasn't coming off. And then it was feeling tired. And my mother subsequently was also sick. My mother had me very young, when she was 15 going on 16. So I was, 42 and she's like 57, 58 and being diagnosed with cancer. And I mean, if you saw my mother was beautiful. Like, we looked like twins, but she had started gaining all of this weight and became a recluse behind it. I don't know if you know women, when they start gaining weight, they don't want to go out. They don't want nobody to see them. I want to lose the weight. I want to, like how I used to look, and that's when they want to re-engage in society, right? And so my mother went, from being 145 pounds to being like 200 pounds, swollen, diagnosed with cancer. And she got very sick from all of the medicines the doctors started putting her on early on, like in her 40s. So here she got diagnosed with what I want to say is the same thing, and she was misdiagnosed, was fibromyalgia. Mm-hmm. And they started putting her on the Lyrica. And, and again, I'm not looking to bash science or say, don't be on these medicines. I'm not a doctor, so we're going to put that full disclosure out there. But I was also going down that path. So my mother was the cautionary tale, because I'm her daughter, right? And the biology is there. So if you have diabetes in your family, then, pay attention. Right. If you have high cholesterol in your family, pay attention, because the biology is there and we can't escape it, right? And my mother transitioned when she was 60. And when I started kind of doing like lining it up, she had started getting sick at the same time that I was getting sick. 2 weeks later, my uncle, who was 56, had a heart attack and passed away. So in a matter of 2 weeks, I became the matriarch of my family. I am the eldest right now, of the cousins. And my grandmother was very, very old, and there was no proxy in place because my uncle was a proxy. It just really turned into a mess. And I needed to get to a place where I could lead my family and give them an example of what can be done and how we could shift and pivot and be healthy, because a lot of women in my family suffer from fibromyalgia and suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. And what is happening is that...
Jen, real quick, can you just explain to the audience what was it? How do you say it? I'm sorry.
Fibromyalgia is an inflammation disease, right? It attacks the muscles. You get very, very tired. It, swollen, the joints. It just, it's depression in your muscles.
Gotcha.
There are people that even can't get out of bed because they are in so much pain that, it cripples them. Right. And so behind that, sometimes they get diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease, right? So now, I'm 46, right? I'm 42, 43, and I'm like looking at the rest of my life after having gotten to this point of my life where now I'm going to be on meds. I'm going to be bedridden. I might, the threshold in my family to live is 60. It's 56. If that shit don't scare you, I don't you have kids, you have dreams, you have aspirations. You have to get to a point where it's like, been there, did that. Now it's time to try something else, because my life depends on it and future generations depend on it. So I changed everything. I got on an amazing nutrition program, and I did the research on just deficiencies. And I tell my clients, you're not going to get on a program to lose weight. You're going to get on a program to feed your deficiencies. Because what happens is that after a certain age, we stop producing certain things. And we have to feed it. We have to supplement it. Same way people were getting supplemental checks and love that shit is the same way people have to take supplements to supplement the body in order for it to work the way it's supposed to work. Right? So you could be deficient in any area of your body, mind. The body is such an amazing machine that if you liken it to a car, you're not going to put motor oil in the transmission. It's not going to function the same way. So you want to make sure you align yourself with somebody who understands where your deficiencies may be. And then we get to work, and then you start peeling away the onion. It's called reverse engineering. You get somebody to, feel a little bit more energetic, to lose those 10 pounds of water weight when the scale hasn't moved in 5 years, to get them to start walking and, speed walking and maybe going to the gym. You can't tell somebody who's 300 pounds, just go exercise and eat a salad and things when they're depressed and they don't want to get out of bed. That's when you have to take a person by the hand and give them a basic structure of what they could be doing. And then that comes, because you throw all of that stuff. I don't know how many times, you or people will go into a membership, a gym membership. They go hard January, February, but they go in there and all they do is the elliptical or the treadmill because they don't know all the machines and how to use them. And they become very, very intimidated by it, so they quit.
Right.
But if you put somebody on a nutrition plan and you say, this is simple, all you have to do is take 2 shakes a day and a sensible meal at night, and we're going to get you some results and we're going to get you some energy and let's go. And then they start seeing results. Guess what? They're going to be like, let's go to the gym.
I think people need to understand also that everyone is different. So whatever program you give such and such, they're not going to have the same program, the next person. So you have to kind of like get, like you're saying, you're getting to know the person and what gets them going. I'm here at the set, we take things matters into our own hand. I spoke to Jennings and she helped me out with something, and I could say it's been like 3 days, and I could say it definitely has helped me. It definitely has helped me, for sure.
I'm happy to hear that, Sally.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, I'm your host, Mr. A.
Sally Sasson in the building.
And this is the Set 615.
Wearing a diaper. No, I'm just kidding.
Tonight, we're talking to the one and only Miss Jennings Medina. And she is divulging information that I think is super pertinent and everybody should or needs to hear. Oftentimes that when we get into these ruts, you can't hit everybody with the same approach because we're all different people. And we also have to understand that not everything that works for me is going to work for you, is going to work for somebody else. We all have to be approached differently. And not only that, but I think Miss Medina is really hitting the head on the nail because she's taking a holistic approach to her health. And I guess I'm under the assumption that that's how she's also approaching her clients, which is refreshing because you can't take everybody to the gym and just throw them on a machine. Yeah, go ahead, go. No, it doesn't work that way. People need to find their niche. And as soon as they do, then they find their comfort level. And as soon as they do, they find their drive and their motivation. And once that happens, everything starts clicking on all cylinders. But Jenny, I want to go back. I want to ask you a question with regards to fibromyalgia, because I never knew that that's what the disease was and how it affected the human body. I thought it was some sort of infection of the lungs. Don't ask me why. I just did. But did you know the survival rate, or do you know the survival rates for people that come down with this disease?
Well, it's not that it lowers your life expectancy in that manner, right? But think about us, you're always in pain, right? So if you're always in pain, then it's always like you're on. You're not getting enough sleep. And if you don't get enough sleep, that's going to affect you, right? So it affects everything. Everything is connected. And even like for the longest time before I even got into my nutrition, I was chasing doctor appointments. You have that person that is like, I have a doctor's appointment. They're going to do this test. And, they're going to send me for this test. And they're looking for the magic test that's going to tell them everything and is just, we're going to throw the medicine at the result that we got on the test. And this is the cure, right? Well, sometimes cure sounds like healing. Let's heal. Let's heal the kidney. Let's heal the liver.
Yeah.
Let's deal with the inflammation. Let's take gluten out of your diet. Let's stop eating so much salt. If you're gonna drink, don't go in. Clean it up maybe for 30 days, 60 days. Give your body grace. Give your body grace.
That's something new. I never heard that before, but it makes a lot of sense. Sally, when you approach intermittent fasting, that's one of the best benefits that you do. You give your organs like time to replenish and refresh themselves, or as Jenny stated, giving our bodies grace, right? And I think that's something that people don't often do, and I think that's why fasting is so helpful, because you take that strain. For a long time we were eating pizza and Gucci frito, and that shit causes strain on your body and your organs. And I don't think people really understand that. Not because they're just ignorant, but because who has ever divulged that information to you? You know what I mean?
And it's so much cheaper to eat dirty.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So Jenny, so now why don't you tell the audience what is the name of your business and what's sort of your mission statement or your approach to your client? Like, delve into that more, how you deal with your clients in your setting.
Well, the name of my business up here is Main Culture Nutrition, and we're located in Buffalo, New York, 1526 Main Street, to be precise. What is my approach? I think that when you go into my space, my physical space, you'll see the art, you'll hear the music, you get me, my energy. I think that that's all part of nutrition. I'm really big on music and the vibration of music and that attraction. When you walk into the nutrition club, you're either going to be hearing some old school Fania salsa or Nicky Jam or some Lauryn Hill. Like, it's just like, the vibration of music is also nutrition. So I wanted to make sure that I had that. I love art, the visual aspect of nutrition, of being able to feed your soul that way. And it's shakes and energy drinks, and everything is natural, and that it's gluten-free, dairy-free. The macros are 200 calories, a shake, 24 grams of protein, 21 vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. We have something for everyone. And it's just a conversation. For me, it's a safe space. It's a safe space to be able to come in and really talk about what you want as far as results are concerned, without feeling like you're going to be judged or you fell off 9 times. Well, let's get back on 10 times. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Yes. That's me. I'll send motivation. I'll send YouTube motivation. ET is one of my favorite motivational speakers. So he's always in my ear. So that's the language. When you start, the vibration of what you're hearing is also the vibration of what you're speaking, right? So I speak into people. I wanted to be able to do this in this area of Buffalo, New York, because it is very diversified. And what I mean by that is that it has, urban decay, like it has urban development. It's very reminiscent for me of Sunset Park, where you could be on 3rd Avenue on one side of the avenue and is like, decrepit, right? Or you could be on the other side and you're standing in front of a brownstone that's like $2 million, right? So, but being able to offer that lifestyle to everybody, because everybody needs nutrition.
Jennings, in Buffalo, like where you at, like what you're saying, is it you're into the health? Is it obesity a big thing there, like in the city, or is it, are they more like into health there in Buffalo? Like, are they into more working out? Is it different than New York City?
Obesity is a problem, a global problem, except if you're living in a country that is dealing with starvation. Right? We live in a global economy that is all about consumption and how much you could get. So obesity is like across the board a problem. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, is obesity a problem in Buffalo? Obesity is a problem everywhere. Diabetes is a problem everywhere, you know, especially amongst minorities, especially amongst our people, right? So
the Goya Sasong and all that shit.
Well, yeah, like, you know, I mean, hey, Buffalo has amazing pizza and chicken wings, you know, I mean, you know, that's what they go for. But a lot of the people that come into the nutrition club are really heavy on working out, and, you know, they enjoy having those options available to them.
Do you convey to people, your clients, I'm sorry, do you convey to your clients that there is a way to make food that is nutritional and good for you taste good to you? Is that something that you find yourself trying? No, because that I've gone through that, and I think that's the biggest. I think that's the obstacle, because, you know, the best way to stay in shape, or the biggest proponent of staying in shape, you have to eat right. There's just no way around it. You can't hit the gym for 2 hours and then go have shrimp and garlic sauce and white rice because you think that's healthy. It's not. It's filled with shit, and it's not gonna do anything for you.
Well, I'm a foodie.
Aren't we all?
And that's why I gotta do shakes all day. Yes, there's absolutely, spices are like the spice of life. You know, you could be using a sofrito to go and, you know, grill up, you know, some good chicken, lean chicken, or a nice piece of steak, or the fish, or the shrimp. I mean, that's part of our culture. We should be using more spices, more fresh herbs and spices. Mm-hmm. The white rice, I mean, listen, do you have to have it every day? You know, and it's also portion control. But think about it, like, do you want the empty calories? So when you start making the shift and you start giving your palate something different, when you go into having those cheat meals and having the food that isn't good for you, your palate, your taste buds, they taste the sugar, they taste the salt, and you reject it because now you have a practice that is different from that. You know, do I love my white rice? Hell yeah, I love my white rice, but I also love feeling good the next day. You know, food gives you a hangover. You ever have a food hangover?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I don't feel good. Like, it was good for the 5 minutes that you were chewing it, but then it's like a whole day that you're not feeling good. You know, the MSG in that Chinese food, I don't know, you know? So, and then it gets to a point where it's just like, I have had all the rice I could possibly have in this life. I'm good. I'm good.
I don't know.
Jennings, in your business, like, I know you deal with Herbalife with certain things. Is everything Herbalife, or is it different type of supplements there?
So Herbalife has practically over 200 supplements, right? And people don't know a lot about that because they are heavy in the shakes and the energy drinks. But they have so many different supplements for men, for women. They have for sleep, for relaxation, for high blood pressure, you know, like the heart supplements. So I am the type, and I learned this in corporate America, that you don't reinvent the wheel, right? If all of the research has been done for you and it's backed by doctors, right? Why am I going to go and open up a juicery or some sort of cold pressed juice place with all of, you know, fruit that, first of all, I might not be able to get next week from Florida because they just got hit with Hurricane Ida. There goes my business, right? Because now I'm leaving things in control of the distribution chain that is not been vetted, right? That and the cost of things going up. So for me, after doing the research and vetting things out, as well as consuming it myself and getting the results that I currently have and am able to maintain. Like I have fibromyalgia and RA, and thank God I don't take meds. Like, and I attribute it all to my nutrition, and that's not typical, but it's possible. Like, again, I don't want to sit here and be like it's a cure, but again, cure sounds like healing. If you get on probiotics, if you're taking the aloe with the lift off instead of drinking the soda, if you're doing all of that, and you're having a shake that is a certified meal replacement, and you know that what it is that you're putting in your body has been vetted out, then why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I align myself with a company that's been around for 40 years, that's to market, is publicly traded, is very strong, their stocks haven't gone down. Like, those are things that you want to also look at when you're aligning yourself as a business individual with your product and what it is that you're putting in front of people.
And I'm glad you say this, because there's a lot of skeptics, right? That, Herbalife is a Ponzi scheme, or Herbalife is this. But yet again, how have they been around for so long? And you just answered those questions, right?
Well,
publicly traded and stuff like that.
Well, a Ponzi scheme is a little different. I think what you're maybe talking about is the whole pyramid scheme, right? Right. Pyramid. Well, I mean, then don't do the business, but you can have the shake.
Right.
I'm not asking you to do if this is what you believe.
She didn't ask me, by the way.
It is, right?
Yeah.
If this is what you believe what it is, then don't do the business, but do the shakes. On top of the fact that if we look at a pyramid scheme, at the end of the day, if you're in corporate America or working for anybody that is not yourself, there's a pyramid. There's the CEO. There's the managing directors. There's the managers. And there might be the supervisor that you think that you're doing their job and they're getting paid more because they have a bigger degree. Like, we need to stop that conversation, because at the end of the day, a hustle is a hustle. I don't know anybody back in the days when we were growing up whose mother or aunt or cousin wasn't selling Avon. Multi-level marketing.
Or acapulrias, or rellenos, limbes, everything.
So multi-level marketing, it's a billion-dollar industry. It depends on just what you're going to get into. I decided that Herbalife was the vehicle for me, and it's been a nothing but an amazing experience. My clients love it.
Now, what can you tell the audience some of your successes? And I mean, just not of yourself, because I think everybody has gotten the message that you're transitioning from what you were doing before to the way you think and eat and move now has led you to a better place health-wise, right? But could you speak to some of the people, maybe some of your clients that you have helped along the way, and what those changes, how they were affected by, the programs you introduced them to?
Off the top of my head, my nephew lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. When you're 18, 19 years old and you're over 300 pounds, that, to be in a body like that as a teenager, that comes with a lot, and not just weight, like not just physical weight. Mental bullying, people discriminate against, obese people, low self-esteem, confidence issues. So definitely I've been able to help my family members. Most of my friends have been on it and have gotten results. Another teenager, 18, lost 30 pounds within like 3 months. All of like my girlfriends that have gotten on, the 10, 15, 20 pounds, the inches around their waist. But again, their confidence, their energy, the moms that just running around with their kids and not having the energy necessary to actually do all of those things. So I basically I'm a results-driven coach. Like, we gonna work. It's people that have been on meds and have had their meds lowered, reversal.
So is the approach, is it calisthenics, or is it weightlifting? What do you run in tandem to the diet?
Listen. I am not the face of the gym.
No, I'm just saying, like, what is it that you do?
Definitely, I think that Sully hit the nail on the head when he said that everybody's level of movement is different.
Yeah.
I have my best friend's mother who's 67. She's a walker. She will outwalk all of us. It's what you're capable of doing.
Right.
That, is there an outline for a workout that I have? Yeah, I'll send it to you. And, there's people that I know that do online Zoom classes that I could connect them to. And it's also a network of individuals that your network, right? I know personal trainers. I know individuals that people could work with one-on-one that allows individuals to tap into the physical aspect of it. But for me, I'm heavy on the nutrition because the science is 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. Right. Like abs are made in the kitchen. Is the truth.
Well, that's the biggest hump, for lack of a better term, that everybody needs to get over, because it's a huge mental reprogramming to get yourself to eat properly, to be healthy. Because again, like I said, when you start eating healthy, you got to figure out ways on how to season, because everything is not going to taste good. And then not only that, but when you're pushing away from sugar, like completely, it takes a lot.
If you do the research on sugar, right, it is what the society and our culture has pushed as far as the chemical substance that we're addicted to.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone.
For sure.
Right? So, like, there's an addiction. There's an addiction in place. And until you don't remove it and recognize, like, the effects of how it feels when you're removing sugar from your diet, like the headaches, the withdrawals, there's withdrawals when you remove processed sugar from your diet. Like, I'm not talking about natural sugar. I'm not talking about, like, fruits that are good for you. I'm talking about Domino's.
White sugar. Yeah.
Soda, white sugar.
So, white sugar.
Nasty.
Yeah.
I'm nasty again.
I don't even have it at home. Like, it's just one of those things that sometimes people need that catalyst moment where it's just like, okay, you need to get off sugar, or you're going to be, poking yourself for the rest of your life. Like, like sometimes that's the catalyst moment where it's just like, okay, I got to do something. And then there's the cautionary tale of, if my family members have biological preconditions, then what's to say that I'm not going in the same direction? Right?
I think that's a huge proponent for everybody to understand what runs in your family and what could affect you ultimately. Right. So if that doesn't change your mind, that's you're putting yourself in harm's way purposely. Right.
Exactly.
So now, Jennings, right now, presently, what is your business looking like? What is your membership like? How many people are you helping? Like, what's the activity for you now?
Well, presently, I just ran reports. Actually, today's the 1st. So the numbers are that we're getting over 250 new people in the business monthly. Awesome. So those are the numbers. And then, if you drill down, then who are the people that are coming back? Like, those are all numbers that you have to look at, right? Like, who are you retaining? How much more do you have to do in order to, drive more business into your business? So right now it's 247, I want to say, new people have actively been coming in and out of the club the last 3 months.
Wow. And ultimately, what is your goal? Where do you want to be, let's say, in like another year? Or what is your goal for the business? Do you want a franchise? Like, what would be the perfect situation for you?
The perfect situation would be to make it to duplicate it, right? And that's really where my vision is to have at least 2 more of these by the end of the summer. another one in Buffalo, and I was looking at Rochester as being, a place where, because there's a huge Latin community. Another thing about my nutrition club is that is a Latina-owned woman minority, nutrition club. I'm not doing this with anybody else. We speak Spanish. We're bilingual. So there's the need for our people to be able to be like, she looks like me, she speaks like me. There's that cultural identity in place, right? So that is one of the other things that I feel like is at the foundation of what I really, really want to create, is that type of vibe. So my vision is to open up two other clubs, one in Buffalo and then one in Rochester, and to make it duplicatable.
Well, Jen, you speak about stuff we always talk about here on the set, and it's Latinos and our health and financial literacy. Things we didn't learn growing up that we try to always try to give it to the audience, give it back to the audience. Financial literacy, and health. We have to get on top of that as Latinos, especially because of the way we eat, like you said.
Our culture, the fritura is like,
yeah,
who doesn't love the fritura, right? And it's really hard. And Jenny, speaking to your point about sugar, about white sugar, is a drug. And when you start coming off of it and start eating right, and the minute you have some sugar, a couple of things will happen. You'll probably get really sick. And I don't mean sick like, oh, fall down, you're in the hospital. I just mean sick, like you're going to feel sick. Or it's going to set you off to go on a binge. Right. I've been in those places before where I'm like, no sugar. And the minute I touch some sugar, like I'll have coffee, oh man, it just starts, letting off all these triggers inside of me. And I'm like, oh, I want to have a sandwich. Yeah, I want to go crazy. And that's the reality of it. But definitely need to get away from it.
It definitely is a snowball effect. And these are opportunities. I always, when I speak to my clients and when we have these one-on-ones, I always ask them, like, what was going on? Like, what put you in that position? Because again, once you start peeling the onion, is it that you were in a social environment and you needed to do this, and that's how that's what you wanted to do? Were you feeling depressed? Were you going through some trauma? Did you get into an argument with your man or your woman? Or there is some food, and what we're consuming also has a chemical effect on our moods, right? So when you start interrogating yourself, right, then you could understand what your triggers are. But there is that self-actualized conversation that self-reflection of being able to be like, okay, well, what's going on really? Really, it's not about this food. The food is just like, it's
the end result.
Yes, it's everything that has led you to that point that is the interrogation and the opportunity to be able to grow from. Like, there's never judgment, right? The L's here are not losses. The L's here are lessons. Right?
Ooh. I don't know. We're going to have to coin that one right now.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined the show, I'm sorry to let you know you're damn late. You missed it. So you're going to have to go back and watch it on Facebook or YouTube, preferably YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. But I want to, Jennings, I want to say, first of all, from myself and Sally, we appreciate your time, first and foremost. We loved that you were able to come on and share your story with the audience. And most of all, you're now part of the family. So if there's anything in the future that you're working on, that you need promoted, announcement, anything, this is your platform to do so. And we always tell our guests, you just reach out and it's all yours. All right?
Thank you.
Before you, I'm going to tuck you in the green room so we can close out the show and want to talk afterwards. But
I just want to let everybody know also, just because Jenny's in Buffalo, don't mean you can't get in touch with her and she can't mail you some shit. So
there you go.
Get in touch with Jennings, whoever wants to speak to her.
No,
send your IG out there and
send the IG out.
Jennings.
It's so my personal IG is Jennings, like my name, Jennings Medina at IG, at Jennings Medina.
Mhm.
The nutrition club is the main culture, underscore the main culture. Definitely, I coach globally. This is it's you could do everything online. Get on Zoom calls with my clients. I video chat with them. So it's not that you have to be local for me to be able to coach you and put you on a nutrition plan, and then hold your hands and just support. I feel like sometimes it's the support that we're lacking. It's just having that person there to either like hold you down, kick your ass, or hold you up. Like
I'm
I
talking
got
about
you.
nutrition and fitness here. I don't know. This took a weird turn just now. Here, what's going on?
But yeah, definitely Jennings. I'm at Jennings Medina, the only Jennings Medina in the world. And the nutrition club is the main culture, and we're located in Buffalo, New York, but I coach internationally.
There you have it, people. Jenny, I'm going to put you in the green room.
Thank
We're
you,
going to
Jenny.
close the show out, and we'll talk after the show.
Yes.
All right, sit tight. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennings Medina. Whoa, another doozy.
Yes.
How you feeling, brother? You
I'm
good?
Yeah, man. I'm good.
Oh, man.
I'm good.
But before we go, I just want to let everybody know, whoever's left in the room, next Friday, September 10th, we will be at Rooftop Reds in Brooklyn with Chef Jay Martinez. If you're going to come out, you need to reach out. That's, again, Rooftop Reds in Brooklyn. Chef Jay Martinez throwing it down. The set will be in the building. Come through. Let's have some cocktails. Let's talk it up. Let's meet. Let's greet. Let's have some fun. Right?
I'll let you boys.
Holla if you know what I'm talking about. All right, so what's up? We out of here?
Yeah, we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight. And next week, as always, we got another special guest. So
yeah, we got special guests and got some good stuff coming up. September, man.
Make sure you tune in. All right, we out of here.